Hi everyone, let's paint together this simple, beautiful mandala 15 centimeters tulips. This is vibe of spring already in there, so let's start it. As usual, I will link video if you need one with instruction how to find the center. Once we did it, we are making marks every 1 centimeter to make cycles later on. And with marks, I decided to go with 10 big segments. So I need marks every 36 degrees, obviously, like that. But again, it's a little bit, it's more difficult, especially when you're a beginner, to paint this way, to use just these big segments. So you can make smaller one if you want to. The colors. Look at this beauty. I decided to go with these ones and one custom color. All materials in description. And as usually, I got 2 types of drops, so I didn't decide at the beginning what to use. And this more yellowish, greenish color, but maybe I will use both, we'll see. So all materials in description as usual, and let's start it. I will use our first custom and only custom colors this time, and as you see, I'm placing dots in the middle of these segments, 1 in each. And if you worry that this is too close, they can mess up a little bit, just leave spots when you're not sure like that and add small one later on. And after everything dry out, you can come back and add a little bit more paint. So this is one of the tricks. Move forward. I adding more drops with white peach color, and you see I'm placing this on the first cycle line and cross between cycle line and our lines, as you see on the video. Yes, I'm leaving some spots between, and I will use this space later on. I'm adding a little bit more paint on the dots to make those more visible when everything dry out. So moving forward, bigger tool, and I'm using electric pink color this time, and you see I'm placing big dots in a space between previous ones and making with a needle, or you can use a thin tool, small tails between. Really careful. So if you worry again, just wait everything dry out. I mean this light circle, and when you're adding fresh, you can more freely add these small tiny tails between previous dots. And we are playing inside of this circle, second circle line, as you see on the video. Just careful, don't worry about that. Just play with your speed. Remember that I'm doing this video a little bit faster to avoid long videos on YouTube. And adding a little bit more paint on the top, like that. Moving forward, these circle lines we are leaving behind because I want to add some dots later on. So on this line, so second from the angle, I'm placing this oval shaped dot long, like 12 millimeter long, but you can literally use 4 or 5 millimeter dot and make the same way tail towards the center. So you can easily recreate for the form or make this similar just with the tools. Remember about that. And the color is, it's coral bus. So really nice, beautiful, bright colors. That's exactly that one that we need after the winter season. especially those who are getting real winter, so obviously. And moving forward, I using again electric pink, one dot on the top like that, on a cross between line and circle line. I didn't say it, and we are walking around with smaller tool and our first custom color. And I believe you noticed on the video that actually I passed one line, so to create 5 big flowers, I passed one line when I did base for flowers. This is kind of obvious, but I want to say this to be clear why I did it, because I want 5 big flowers. So you can do bigger central wall dot with electric pink first, and after that walk around with smaller tool and our first custom color. Like that. So let's move forward with our brushes and strokes. But first I want to create some space between to use it later on. And this is, again, I'm placing this with a oval shape, but you can use classic one, and our coral buzz color. And you see I'm using this our last circle line for this, like that. Remove all bubbles if you need. Small brush, I'm using really small one to make some strokes, but be careful at the end because I want to leave this space. Color white peach, and like that. So I'm starting not too close, just around, pressing, releasing pressure, pressing, releasing, pressing, releasing, as usual. Be careful around dots, but obviously you can wait until dry out to feel safe to do this. Like that. Next step, big strokes around. I'm starting lower, as you see, first custom color, the same brush. A little bit just on the top of our second from the edge circle line. You can see this on the video, and again really careful at the end. So end of the stroke you can place on these light ones, just not go too deep towards central dots, like that. And it's more pinkish now. Okay, next step, I want to use our coral buzz color again and walk a little bit around to make our strokes a little bit different. So I'm using bigger brush, just middle-sized brush, not too big. And what I'm doing, I'm placing dot like that and walk a little bit around to the surface, remove everything from the paint, if some pieces of dried paint. So placing dots and moving brush around. And you see how this changes our picture, making this much more interesting. You can place dots first, and after that just move the brush. Or obviously you can easily move your brush. This is small surface, but you can train your brain and your hands to make these big flowers to recreate later on a bigger mandalas. And last one, just around. So these strokes kind of like open, I may say, like that. So moving forward. the same brush, and I want to play more between flowers now. And I'm starting from the line, giving a little bit space, like that. And again, I'm moving this like open strokes, like that. Just you can regulate with your brush the whiteness of your strokes, and the color is electric pink. I'm using only 3 colors to create this mandala, so obviously you can recreate with another colors. And like that, so I'm leaving some space between the strokes on the top. And again, with the brush you can regulate how wide your strokes are. Like that. I'm not trying to make this ideal, to be honest, because I just don't feel that in nature there are something ideal, but it doesn't matter. Our flowers, for example, tulips, still so beautiful. So moving forward, I want to play a little bit with the space between flowers. I will use a white peach. I'm starting in the middle between circle lines, second and third from the center. I'm moving my brush like that, and I decided to go a little bit further and make some kind of like young tulips, you know, that we are just waiting when they begin their journey like a tulips, like that. So be careful with the strokes. Don't play between flowers. Again, you can wait until your strokes dry out and you can move with your brush much more easy, like in a safe space, you know, like that. The beginning of strokes are not touching each other, as you see on the video. And the next step will play a little bit inside of this space between the strokes. I'm using the same tool. You can use just classic one, and the color is electric pink. I'm using this space and just playing around. You can easily use it how you want it and create something new, like that. And with smaller brush tool, now we can come back to the center and add a little bit more paint on that smaller ones. And again, I will play just with small dots inside of this, between this light brush strokes, sorry. So let's start. I will use our coral bust to make one bright one on the top, like that. And after that, below this big electric pink, I will create small row of dots with our first custom color and really small too. So what I'm doing, I'm just going with the flow, and you can go with your own flow and use this space as you wish. This is the most interesting part, because we don't need to try to recreate exactly what we saw. We can use this as a tutorial and go with our flow. Like that. How beautiful it is. And small ones with first custom color in these spots. So now we are waiting until it's dry out. It's already beautiful, but we can add more dots. So I'm decided go with this 3 drops. As I said, materials in description box below. I'm placing small one in the center, as you saw, and in these spots I'm also placing small ones. And with the needle, again, the same trick, I'm making small tails in the spots between dots. And you see our mandala getting like another vibe with 3D drops. Moving forward, I wanna play a little bit with these spots, and I'm using small brush and coral base color. Again, you can create drops, you can add dots, you can go with the flow, what exactly for you this spot about. I'm just going with the flow and with small strokes. Coming back to our 3D drops, at the base of these oval shaped dots, placing 3D drops, and the same way with scene 2 on needle, making tails like that. And just a little bit more details, I really want to make it simple. The same trick over there, again I'm adding this on 3D drops on the bottom of this oval shape dots, and the same way creating small strokes but towards the edge of our mandala to another direction. And again, use this spot as you wish. I decided to place 2 dots from both sides and small one on the top of that one, the middle one, oval shape dot we created. I'm not doing with this central one any tails, leaving like that, but with this one I'm moving this around like strokes. And this said, so hope you enjoy this painting, hope you enjoy your painting. Subscribe, press like button if you wanna watch much more this content, and see you next video. Bye.